it is. My 1924 Dodge Brothers Roadster. A special thanks to my friend Mark for this one. Thanks, Mark. Here's the car now in its current state. When I started working on this car, I wasn't making the videos, so I'll bring you up to date to what we've done so far. We got the 241 Red Ram Hemi out of a 54 Dodge Meadowbrook. Went to Georgia to get that. Bought the whole car. Cut out the cross member from it so I could mount the engine like factory. Also, it helps stiffen up the chassis with that motor in there. This motor does run great. I did have it running. It won't take much to get it wired up again to make another video to show you. The front axle, that's out of a 31 Plymouth. I did have a 50's Dodge truck axle, but it was too wide. So I found this 31 Plymouth and I had to custom fabricate mounts. The original width and pattern wasn't the same as the 24 Dodge springs. So I did a little customizing there to make that work. Very happy with the results. This car, when I got it, was all stock, full fendered, original engine and trans. It was sitting outside for years. Motor was seized. The fenders were rough. Running boards were rotted. So I decided to make this my hot rod. Took off the fenders, running boards, took out that motor and trans, put in my Hemi. Trying to do a traditional build of the late 40s, early 50s style. I've also been doing this all outside of my driveway. So it's been a little challenging, but that's how a lot of guys did it back in the day. Nothing wrong with that. Now the body you saw in the earlier had surface rust throughout. So I treated it with a chemical. Basically it converts and neutralizes that rust. And then at that point you can paint over it. So what I did was I took a flat black paint and scrubbed it on, kind of like a staining process. Just something I try and experimented with, and it's got some interesting results. I like it. Looks like it's been sitting like that for a while. So that's what we're gonna go with. The floors, there are none. So I'm gonna fabricate my own. Right now I have it framed out for the seat and the floor pans. I have the body braced to keep it stiff. The doors do open. No flexing. That transmission, you're probably asking about the transmission. Well, I'll tell you. It's a 37 Cadillac Lasalle, 1 year only. It has the stick shift coming out of the center, whereas all the others were a side shift with the levers. Also the adapter going to the Hemi. It's an original old school speed part that I hunted down and found. Took some time, but for me that's half the fun, is finding these old speed parts and, you know, the hunt. And then the results are well worth it. The dash, took out the original gauges. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in there yet, but something different probably. I like to find the unusual and oddball pieces when I build my cars. I'm not sure what I'll run for tail lights yet, but something different, I'm sure. The rims are all 16-inch all the way around. Not sure if I'm running the white walls or black walls. The rear is that of a 46 Ford truck, which gives you the open drive shaft as opposed to a torque tube. So this way I can run a conventional U-joint and have a drive shaft made for the car. The tail panel needs some work. I'll probably fabricate a new piece for that. There's another look at that good looking rear. I did have to move the leaf spring perches. I kept the original springs from the 24 Dodge, so I had to slide the perches a little bit wider than what the Ford was. Set my pinion angle to the transmission. So all that's left there is the drive shaft. Here's another look at the car from this angle. The body is overall nice. A little bit of rust on the lower cowl and quarter, but overall pretty solid for a car that's over 100 years old. So keep checking in with me. I'll be doing a lot of work on this car. It's one of my favorites. Hoping to be cruising the streets this summer with it. I'm calling this one the Red Ram Roadster. So keep checking back in, and please consider a subscription to the channel. And thank you for your support.